Hello everyone. In the last video, we have solved some problems on Fourier transforms and we have also seen what is the expression or how in terms of recurrence relation we can find the Fourier cosine transform of derivative of a function. Okay. In this video, we will study the convolution theorem. Let us first see what does the convolution of two functions means. Convolution of functions f and g, wherein fx and gx are the functions of x. Convolution of these on interval minus infinity to infinity is given by f star g, which is equal to 1 upon root of 2 pi integral from minus infinity to infinity f of u g of x minus u du. Integration is with respect to u. Let us start with the theorem. Convolution theorem. Let f alpha and g alpha be the Fourier transforms of the functions fx and gx respectively. Then the product f alpha into g alpha is the Fourier transform of the convolution product f star g. Okay, we will prove this theorem, and this theorem will be many times used in problems. Okay, if you are given some integral or you are asked to evaluate some integral and the terms inside the integral sign are of the form of Fourier transform of some function. Okay, so that time we can use this formula. We will also solve some examples on this based on this theorem. Let us first prove it. So f alpha is the Fourier transform of function fx and g alpha is the Fourier transform of function g of x. Okay, what we want to show is this product is the Fourier transform of the convolution product f star g. Okay, so we will have to find out the Fourier transform of this quantity, and this quantity is here given by this. Okay, so by the formula of Fourier transform, this is a function of x. So 1 upon root of 2 pi integral from minus infinity to infinity this convolution product, which is a function of x, into e raised to I alpha x dx. This will be equal to 1 upon root of 2 pi integral from minus infinity to infinity e raised to I alpha x, and now I will substitute for this convolution product from here. So that will be integral from minus infinity to infinity f of u g of x minus u du and dx. Now, because we have let us first write, I will write it this way, integral from minus infinity to infinity f of u g of x minus u into I will get e raised to I alpha x du dx. Since f and g are absolutely integrable, the order of integration is interchanged. Okay, so because they are absolutely integrable, we will interchange the order. We can interchange the order of integration, and integral from minus infinity to infinity f of u, I will write this as integral from minus infinity to infinity. So that will be g of x minus u into e raised to I alpha x dx. Okay, I think when I wrote here it 1 upon root of 2 pi, so it should be 1 upon root of 2 pi, and then this root will go, right? So it is 1 upon 2 pi integral from minus infinity to infinity f of u integral from minus infinity to infinity g of x minus u e raised to I alpha x into e raised to I alpha u e raised to minus I alpha u dx. This is the term we are adding here. So what will this give? Now this will become g of x minus u e raised to I alpha x minus u into e raised to I alpha, this will remain alpha u. Okay, so here I will get 1 upon 2 pi integral from minus infinity to infinity f of u integral from minus infinity to infinity g of x minus u e raised to I alpha x minus u into dx. This e raised to I alpha u, I write it outside, into this du. Now we make the substitution x minus u equal to some t. Okay, so this will imply dx is equal to dt. Okay, and the limits, if we see, as x goes to infinity, this will go to infinity. As this goes to minus infinity, it will go to minus infinity. And here when we do the substitution, 1 upon 2 pi integral from minus infinity to infinity f of u e raised to I alpha u du integral from minus infinity to infinity g of t into e raised to I alpha t dx will become dt. Okay, so clearly from here, if I split this 1 upon 2 pi as 1 upon root of 2 pi into 1 upon root of 2 pi, then this and this is the Fourier transform of f of x, and this will become the Fourier transform of function gx. Okay, so this will be f alpha, this will be g alpha, and hence what we have shown is Fourier transform of the convolution product is equal to this into this. Further, let us show that this f star g is also equal to g star f. Okay, so we can start with this. So consider f star g, which is given by 1 upon root of 2 pi integral from minus infinity to infinity f of u g of x minus u du. Then we will make the substitution x minus u equal to some y. what will that imply? What is u equal to? Variable of integration is u. So we are changing this variable of integration u. So u will be equal to x minus y is equal to this u. Okay, and this is the changed one which we have taken, and therefore du will be equal to minus dy. And also see that as u goes to minus infinity, this will go to infinity, and this, as this goes to plus infinity, this will go to minus infinity, and the limits will be interchanged. But because of this negative sign, what we can do is again reverse the limits, and then what we will get, this will be equal to, after this substitution here, we will get 1 upon root of 2 pi integral from minus infinity to infinity f of u. Instead of u, it is f of x minus y into g of x minus u is g of y into dy. Okay, so this can be written as 1 upon root of 2 pi integral from minus infinity to infinity g of y f of x minus y dy. And you can clearly see by comparing this equation with the definition of f star g, that is the convolution of two functions, this will be equal to g star f. And hence we have shown that f star g is equal to g star f. Next, let us derive something called as Parseval's relation. Again, this Parseval's relation will also be mostly applicable in the problems, that is evaluating the integrals. Okay, so we will derive this relation from the convolution product and the definition of Fourier transform and inverse Fourier transform. Okay, so from the definition of Fourier transform, inverse Fourier transform, and the convolution product, that whatever convolution theorem we have proved, we can say that f star g is equal to 1 upon root of 2 pi integral from minus infinity to infinity e raised to minus I alpha x f alpha g alpha into d alpha equal to, by the definition of this, and this is by the inverse Fourier transform of this. Okay, we have already seen that Fourier transform of this is equal to f alpha into g alpha. Okay, so the inverse Fourier transform of this product will be equal to this f star g, and the inverse Fourier transform of this is given by this formula. And we also know that by definition of this, f star g is equal to 1 upon root of 2 pi integral from minus infinity to infinity f of u g of x minus u du. If we set x equal to 0 in this above equation, what do we get? We will get the equation 1 upon root of 2 pi integral from minus infinity to infinity f alpha g alpha into d alpha equal to 1 upon root of 2 pi integral from minus infinity to infinity f of u g of minus u du. Next, for the case g of minus u equal to f star u, where f star u is the complex conjugate of function f of u. Okay, what we will have is the g alpha, which is the Fourier transform of the function g of u, okay, will be equal to the Fourier transform of here this minus u equal to f star of this alpha. Now from here we have seen that g alpha is equal to f star alpha. If we substitute this and this in this above equation, what we will get? 1 upon root of 2 pi integral from minus infinity to infinity f of alpha g alpha is equal to f star of alpha d alpha equal to 1 upon root of 2 pi integral from minus infinity to infinity f of u g of minus u is f star u d u, and therefore this is number into its complex conjugate. So this will be nothing but 1 upon root of 2 pi integral from minus infinity to infinity mod of f of alpha the whole square d alpha equal to 1 upon root of 2 pi integral from minus infinity to infinity. So this is mod of f of u this whole square into d of u. Okay, this will get cancelled and we will be left with integral from minus infinity to infinity f of alpha whole square d alpha equal to integral from minus infinity to infinity mod of fu square into this du. Okay, now here I have written this into this is equal to mod of this quantity the whole square. This is by using the property of complex numbers. What does it say? A number into its complex conjugate is equal to mod of that number the whole square. Okay, so by using that we have said this and this will get cancelled, and this relation is called as the Parseval's identity. Equation star is called Parseval's relation. Let us look at one example. Using the Fourier transform of e raised to minus ax and e raised to minus bx, show that integral from 0 to infinity d alpha a square plus alpha square b square plus alpha square is equal to pi upon 2ab into a plus b. A is strictly greater than 0, b is strictly greater than 0. Okay. So, if you remember, in one of the previous videos, we have already found out the Fourier sine transform and Fourier cosine transform of such a function. Okay, you see here it's the same function, only these constants are changed. Here it is e raised to minus ax and here it is given as e raised to minus bx. Okay, so if you recall the Fourier cosine transform of the function e raised to minus ax, let me call this as fx, is e raised to minus ax, and g of x as e raised to minus bx. So the Fourier cosine transform of the function fx will be root of 2 pi integral from 0 to infinity e raised to minus ax into cos of alpha x dx, and this was coming out to be equal to root of 2 by pi into a upon a square plus alpha square, And similarly, the Fourier cosine transform of the function g of x root of 2 by pi b upon b square plus alpha square. Okay, we have already found out these Fourier cosine transforms and even the sine transforms. Okay, so from that I am writing here directly that the Fourier cosine transform of this function is this, and Fourier cosine transform of this function is equal to this. Now observe that integral from 0 to infinity Fourier cosine transform of the function fx into Fourier cosine transform of the function g of x is equal to integral from 0 to infinity. So this will be integral from 0 to infinity, root of 2 by pi will come there, root of 2 by pi, this is nothing but g of x cos of alpha x dx. Okay, that root of 2 pi will come. So this is equal to integral from 0 to infinity g of x dx root of 2 by pi integral from 0 to infinity Fourier cosine transform of alpha cos of alpha x d alpha. If you see here, this is integral from 0 to infinity g of x, this is nothing but f of x and this dx. Okay, so this is equal to this. Okay, and therefore by using this here, integral from 0 to infinity cosine transform of alpha into of function gx into the cosine transform of function fx into the cosine transform of function g of x, what we will get is a divided by a square plus alpha square b into b square plus alpha square d alpha equal to integral from 0 to infinity e raised to minus bx e raised to minus ax dx. This is e raised to minus x a plus b dx, integral from 0 to infinity, and this will be integral from 0 to infinity ab upon a square plus alpha square into b square plus alpha square d alpha. Okay, if you calculate this, this will be nothing but e raised to minus x a plus b divided by minus a plus b from 0 to infinity. Okay, so at infinity it will go to 0 because this will come in the denominator, and 0 it is 1, so minus of minus it will become plus 1 upon a plus b. I think yes, I have missed out the constant term here. I have substituted for this quantity, so it should be root of 2 by pi into this. I have written just the variable terms, so this will be this into this, we will get 2 upon pi here. Okay, so this will be 2 upon pi. Okay, then what we will get is 2 upon pi integral from 0 to infinity ab divided by a square plus alpha square into b square plus alpha square d alpha equal to 1 upon a plus b. That implies integral from 0 to infinity d alpha a square plus alpha square b square plus alpha square is equal to pi by 2 into 1 upon a plus b into this ab, and hence we have proved whatever was asked. We wanted to evaluate this integral. Okay, so we have used the Fourier cosine transform of these functions, and by observing this relation we have evaluated this integral. Let us look at one more example. Let f of x be equal to e raised to minus x, then show that integral from 0 to infinity t square by t square plus 1 the whole square dt is equal to pi by 4. Okay, here the function f of x is given as e raised to minus x. That means if you compare it with the previous problem, the function is the same, only here a is equal to 1. Okay, so let us first see what is the Fourier sine transform of this. By looking at this expression, it looks like it should be the sine transform, because the Fourier cosine transform of alpha is that constant term divided by alpha square plus that constant square. But the Fourier sine transform of such a function of e raised to minus ax, this was alpha upon alpha square plus the constant square. Okay, and this looks of this form. So let us first find out Fourier sine transform of the given function will be equal to root of 2 by pi integral from 0 to infinity. It will be e raised to minus x sine of alpha x dx. And you will observe that we have already solved this in the one of the previous videos. It was root of 2 by pi into alpha square plus 1. We have proved it for general a, but in particular if that a is equal to 1, a square will become 1 here. Now again observe that Fourier sine transform of alpha, sine transform of the function fx, this will be equal to 1 upon integral from 0 to infinity root of 2 by pi, this integral from 0 to infinity, this is nothing but f of x into sine of alpha x dx, which is equal to integral from 0 to infinity f of x dx root of 2 by pi integral from 0 to infinity Fourier sine transform of alpha, sine transform of fx into sine alpha x d alpha. If you see here, this is again fx, so it will be this into fx dx. Okay, so what we have got, integral from 0 to infinity fs of alpha d alpha is equal to this. So if I substitute here integral from 0 to infinity, it will be equal to this into again this quantity, so it will be 2 by pi alpha square plus 1 the whole square d alpha equal to integral from 0 to infinity e raised to minus 2x dx. So this will be equal to e raised to minus 2x 0 to infinity, and this will come out to be equal to plus 1 upon 2, infinity 0 upon 2. Yes, and then if you see, this is equal to 1 upon 2, and therefore integral from 0 to infinity alpha square by alpha square plus 1 the whole square d alpha will be equal to pi by this 2. So it will be pi by 4, and hence we have evaluated the given integral. Okay, that is the variable of integration, whatever we are getting different alpha, and here they have given it in terms of t. If you would have started with t instead of alpha, you would have got the same thing. So this is equal to this. Next, sine and cosine convolution integrals. We have already seen the convolution integral for the function fx and gx. Okay, now here are some of the formulas for sine and cosine convolution integral. So the first one is integral from 0 to infinity Fourier cosine transform of function fx into Fourier cosine transform of the function gx. This cos alpha x d alpha is equal to 1 upon 2 integral from 0 to infinity g of theta into f of mod x minus theta plus f of x plus theta, this into d of theta. Theta is the variable of integration. Okay, so these properties, this can be easily proved by using the trigonometric formulas and by substitution of these integrals. Okay, the next one is integral from 0 to infinity Fourier cosine transform of the function fx into Fourier sine transform of the function gx into sine alpha x d alpha equal to 1 upon 2 integral from 0 to infinity g of theta into f of this, here it's the minus sign, into d of theta. Okay, if you observe carefully, when we substitute for this, what will happen is we will get the terms of the form cos of some angle into cos of some angle, or maybe sine of some angle into sine of some angle. And how do we integrate such terms? Sine of some angle into sine of some other angle. Okay, so what we will do is to integrate this to, how do we write this? By using cos of a plus b cos a minus b formula, and by checking what is that a and b, you will notice that we are getting some terms of this form. Maybe this is a and b into alpha or whatever the term is. Okay, so when you write it in proper trigonometric formulas by using cos a plus b cos a minus b formula, you will see that these signs, how they differ and how we get the angles. Okay, so this is, then the third formula is integral from 0 to infinity fs alpha gs alpha into sine alpha x d alpha equal to 1 upon 2 into this.